If you're considering moving to the Frederick area, you may also be considering Hagerstown because you've heard that there's cheaper houses up there. So is it worth it? My name is Eddie Brady with Showcase Real Estate, and today I'm going to show you how both cities stack up against each other so that you can decide which one is really the best to move to. And the first thing we're going to compare between Frederick and Hagerstown is the location. Frederick is located in what's known as the DC metro region, which consists of Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and Frederick County, which is where Frederick is located. And Frederick City sits at the intersection of Interstate 70, 270, Route 15, and Route 340. So if you're looking to commute from Frederick, you're going to have about a 45-minute to an hour commute to Baltimore, DC, and Northern Virginia. And Hagerstown is located in what's known as Western Maryland, which consists of Garrett County, Allegheny County, and Washington County, which is where Hagerstown is located. And it sits at the intersection of I-70 and I-81, which goes south into Virginia and north into Pennsylvania. Now, if you're looking to commute to Baltimore, DC, or Northern Virginia from Hagerstown, you can add about 30 minutes to each of those commutes, which is about the distance between Hagerstown and Frederick. So if you're looking to commute and drive time is very important to you, Frederick is probably going to be the clear winner. But what if you don't have to commute? What if you don't care about your drive time? Well, that's where we have to look at what each city has to offer, and that's why we'll jump into things to do in each city. We're comparing two cities with rich history. They both have a ton of Civil War history that happened right inside of each city. There's a ton of railroad history. So if you're a history buff, you'll like the museums, the historical sites. There's going to be plenty to do for you there. And I think both Hagerstown and Frederick stack up pretty equally in that regard. And if you like the outdoors, I'd say that both cities are pretty equal there as well. They're both right on the east side of the Appalachian mountain chain. There's plenty of places to go camping, mountain biking, hiking, and all of that. But if you're really looking to get way out into the wilderness, Hagerstown is closer to that gateway into the mountains, so maybe that's a better fit for you. If you really want to go and get lost in West Virginia or the west side of Maryland, then Hagerstown is going to be much closer for you to be able to travel there. Now, the separation between the two really comes into play when you talk about the downtown scene. I would say that Frederick has one of the best downtowns in all of Maryland, if not the best, right next to Annapolis. So I think we have to compare what each downtown has to offer so we can really see which city is best. Downtown Frederick has 41 restaurants just in downtown alone, and these are not chain restaurants. These are actually local small businesses that opened up in Frederick. Great restaurants that attract amazing chefs from all over the country, as well as amazing chefs from DC. So when you're experiencing a dinner out in Frederick, you're experiencing the same dinner you would have by going out on a fancy night in the town in Washington, DC. So that's pretty amazing. There are a ton of options. Pretty much every type of food that you can imagine is now in Frederick. And if you're looking for a place to grab a beer, there are 10 breweries in Frederick, and most of them are actually downtown and walkable between each other. So Frederick just has a ton to offer downtown on the food and drink scene. And Hagerstown does a pretty decent job here. They have 18 restaurants just downtown alone and 3 breweries within Hagerstown. So they're doing pretty well themselves. They have some great restaurants, and I'll even give them a bonus 4th brewery, which is really in Williamsport. It's called Couchois Brewing, and the reason I'm giving them this one is because inside they have Rad Pies Pizza, and it's the best deep dish pizza in the world. They actually won the championship for best deep dish pizza, so I want to kind of give that to Hagerstown as a little bonus. It's right nearby. If you're rolling through Hagerstown, you might as well go there and try out the best deep dish pizza. Now, the owners of Rad Pies have a restaurant in Frederick called the White Rabbit Gastropub, which also serves those pizzas. So if you want to try it, you don't have to go all the way to Hagerstown. You can do it right in downtown Frederick as well. Now, continuing with things to do, Frederick has amazing outdoor events throughout the year. They really do a great job at getting their citizens out and doing things through the streets of Frederick. They have outdoor markets. They have First Saturdays, which are all about promoting local businesses. They have a Live at 5 concert series on Carroll Creek. They have New Year's Eve celebrations, just a ton of things to do. They have marathons and 5Ks all planned throughout the year. They also have something really unique to them, which is the National Clustered Spires High Wheel Race, which is like those old time bikes with the high wheels. They have a race throughout the city that gets international racers to come to Frederick. So Frederick just has a ton of things to do. Now, Hagerstown has a pretty good amount of things to do as well. They have the Historic City Farmers Market, which is a weekly farmers market that attracts a ton of people, not just locals, but people from outside of the city. They also have the Summer Solstice event, which is a big event on the summer solstice in downtown. And they do a good job at attracting people to their tree lighting ceremony in wintertime. So I'd say both of these cities have a lot to offer. I will say I think Frederick has more things to offer as far as the food scene goes and the drinks and events. So, you know, it's kind of a toss-up in a way, but Frederick just has a lot more variety, a lot more options for you, but you really can't go wrong if you're moving to Frederick or Hagerstown. But the real reason that I made this video is because people have been commenting that they're moving to Hagerstown and Washington County because housing is cheaper there. They say it's too expensive in Frederick, too expensive in Montgomery County, so they're moving out to Hagerstown. So is housing really cheaper in Hagerstown? Well, I took a look at the home sales in Hagerstown over the last 6 months, and the average sales price for a home in Hagerstown was around $171 per square foot, and the average sales price of the homes in Hagerstown were around $297,000. And I did the same thing with Frederick over the past 6 months, and the average price per square foot in Frederick was $240 per square foot, and the average sales price was $449 per square foot. So Frederick is clearly more expensive than Hagerstown in their housing, nearly double if you're looking at the actual sales price of these homes. So there's a big difference there. I can really see now why people have been commenting on my videos saying, I moved to Hagerstown because it's cheaper. So which city is best to move to? Well, I think it all depends on how much weight you put on each of those categories. Is location more important for you? Are you a commuter? Is the cost of housing more important to you? Or is it the lifestyle, the things to do in your city, and you want to be able to go out and have a ton of things to do, and that's most important to you? I think those are the things that you need to write down, the pros and cons, weigh them, which is most important before deciding whether or not to move to Frederick or Hagerstown. And one last thing I do want to note about these cities. Frederick has had a ton of development over the past decade. They have a ton of investment in downtown. So you're going to see a lot of new stores, restaurants, housing being built in Frederick. You're not going to see that same level in Hagerstown. And that purely has everything to do with proximity to DC. Anything close to DC, the closer you get, the more investment, the higher the prices. So that's why you're seeing that in Frederick. And whether or not Hagerstown sees a ton of investment in the future, it's still going to pace behind Frederick. And again, that's not a bad thing. Maybe you don't want a ton of development. Maybe you want a city that is a little slower moving. Hagerstown is probably better for you in that regard. Again, it all depends on your preference and how you weight each category that we talked about today. So I hope this video was helpful in determining whether to move to Hagerstown or Frederick. I want to know though in the comments below, which would you move to if you had the choice? And if you are considering moving to Hagerstown or Frederick or anywhere in Maryland, please reach out to me. I'm a licensed realtor here and would be happy to help you on your home buying journey. Please reach out to me. My information is listed below. You can also reach out to me on my Instagram at Eddie Brady Real Estate, and I'd be happy to help you there as well. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so that you stay up to date on all of my videos about living in Maryland.